The roster of WWF SmackDown is probably the weakest part of this title, though the list isn't an overly weak one upon closer inspection. 30 wrestlers, counting 36 hidden stars, compared to the previous WWF games that were on offer is almost half of what came before. WWF Attitude had 42, WrestleMania had 59, and WCW Mayhem had 56. So who's overly missing from this time frame that we've been given with this one? Okay, so the current superstars were Jeff Jarrett, me and Droz. So let's say October. So we don't count Kurt Angle, who debuted in November. We're missing the Mean Street Posse, Lita, S.A. Rios, Cactus Jack and Dude Love, Crash Holly, the British Bulldog, 𝓐𝓐𝓲𝓽𝓮 and Rikishi, though Rikishi could be deemed too late because he also debuted in November. And thankfully those I just mentioned were all added in the follow-up SmackDown 2. There's also 12 wrestlers in this title that you could count, as you need to create them and create a wrestler mode itself, which is weird. Ivory, Godfather's Ho, Albert, and some other really random guys can be created. It's strange, honestly, that this title even got released when it did. The roster is solely based on mid-99. Jericho feels fresh and new to the roster, and Big Show in his giant nappy despite learning to wear clothes by October. The Dudley Boys, who debuted in August, are probably the newest superstars by this point to be included, as this was their first WWF title appearance. And whilst we're talking about the roster, let's talk about the entrants themselves. The entrance animations that play out in front of a video screen is basically the entire entrance here. The rest of them making their way out pretends to be in the arena, I guess. They just mimic out what it would be like if they were climbing the turnbuckle. Wow, just imagine. They're suddenly on top of you, they're posing. Whoa. Titan music-packed entrances were new for sure, and this is probably just a way to really show off the power of the PlayStation, but it is a total disappointment when compared to literally everything else that came beforehand. Well, to me anyways. I understand that Titantrons were totally new and something incredibly exciting, and I guess just using the exact video itself is quite an experience for people at the time, but I always found it totally underwhelming. Even Mania 2000 had guys walk out to the ring and then waiting at ringside as you made your entrance, whereas Yuke's debut here doesn't have the ringside at all. Hilarious. I want to touch on the animations themselves in this game. The way that X-Pac emotes during his entrance, Taker's eyes roll to the back of his head, the Big Show shouts and opens his mouth, The Rock raises his eyebrow. This game really did have something special with the facial animations on offer here. It's still a person's face and skin stretched over a model, but it's actually something that's been created that is rather unique. Not going for extreme realism, instead creating almost the image of a wrestler that you'd think of in your mind when you picture somebody. Think of Mankind. You see his sweatpants, white shirt and mask, as well as his over-the-top animations. And though this title doesn't have incredible textures, the near cartoony and bright colory images on the screen made this extremely playable on a 4x3 TV back in the day.